Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. I am your host, Nikki Clarke, and I am so excited to be back with another amazing interview. The show is about celebrating people from all walks of life who have amazing stories of transformation. And we've been doing this for 17 years, uplifting people with amazing stories of just moving, shaking, and pushing humanity forward. And I have another amazing woman with us today. She goes by the name of Miss J,
Hey.
J Holness. And she is a purpose-driven individual whose work reflects resilience, growth, and commitment to making meaningful impact in the community. And with a journey shaped by lived experience, intentional learning, and a passion for transformation, Miss J brings insight that speaks to both personal development and community upliftment. So please join me in welcoming Miss J to the Nikki Clarke Show.
Hey, hello, Nikki audience. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And thank you, Miss Nikki, Dr.
Uh,
Nikki Clarke, for
oh,
having me today.
thank you, thank you. And we go way back. We go back
Way
to,
back.
yeah,
Year.
yesteryear. Shout out
Yep.
to thatchannel.com. That's where we first connected
Yes.
over 17 years ago.
Has
So,
to be, yes. Yes, because
yes,
my son turned 21 today, and I remember leaving him to go and do that show when he was but a baby. So, yes, it's been a minute.
awesome. It's been a minute. Well, yes, great things have come into alignment from those days, and even more to come. So let's get to know you a little bit better. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what experiences have most shaped who you are today.
That's a good question. Something I use with all my clients as well. Like I'm telling you, tell me who you are versus
Yes.
what you do. And yeah, I describe myself as a strategic builder of people and systems, right? So I help entrepreneurs to really design businesses that actually fit who they are. And to me, that knowing who you are is the source. It's not just the authenticity, but it's the source of your energy that you
Mhm.
give, right, to people. And my journey, it wasn't linear, it was layered. I did corporate for over 30 years. I did community work for the same amount of time. Coaching, I did coaching not only in business, but in life. And I was certified um, uh, sports coach as well. So I used to have a company that we developed basketball players, media and leadership all just braided together, right? So I didn't wake up successful. I woke up committed each and every day because
Mm.
to me, commitment is what carried me. And
Yes.
Empire by Design was born because I kept seeing talented people burning out, trying to
Mm.
copy someone else's blueprint. And my work became about alignment, and it became about aligning yourself with your vision and then scaling it second. So
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't, that's just me. I didn't build a business. I built a way of working that protects purpose while producing results. And I think that's what carried me into the drip strategy title in terms of drive, resilience, innovation, and progression. And being a boss methodologist was around the business operations systems and strategies.
I love that. I love that. But what or when was the defining moment when you realized that you were walking into a deeper sense of purpose?
I think it was when I think when I started working in community work. I think when you work with people who want or who have the potential but don't have the how, right? They know who they are. Essentially, I find that uh, people know what they like, I should say, sorry, but they didn't know who they were, and meaning they didn't know how their knowledge, their skill, or their capacity could take them to their vision, to their destiny. And so I was inspired by watching capable people shrink because they lack clarity. They didn't lack
Mhm.
talent, but just clarity. And I realized that they didn't need more motivation. They just needed
Yes.
structure that supported their reality. So that's what keeps me going, is seeing people move from chaos to confidence, right? And
Mhm.
motivating their legacy, not their likes. I say, yes, today you can get 54 likes, but think about it in 10 years where you're going to be. And every win my clients experience feels personal because I know what it costs to keep going when no one is clapping. You just gotta keep pushing through.
Yeah. Yeah. How to push through when there are no cheerleaders. I
That's
get,
it.
I understand that completely. Yes. So, how do people sit with you and how do you extract from them a needs assessment? How does that happen when they find you?
Well, I ask them to assess themselves. First, I ask them,
Mm,
just tell me who you are. And that stumps a lot, especially women. It stumps them to no end. The first thing they like to say is, I'm a mom.
mm,
And I'm like, that's great. That's what you do. But who are you before you became a mother? And so that self-assessment tells me how deeply they've really reflected on who they are and where they're trying to go. And when I hear that, then it gives me the ability to start to know where to start. It's not sometimes about the vision. Let's just start with identity. Let's figure out what made you tick when you were 16, then at 25, and with all these transitions in life, you became married or you have a significant other or whatever it is, what were the motivations? Right? And once you can identify that, then it's easier for them to shape their path into where they want to go.
that is a really profound kind of recollection that you shared with us because it's so true. I think with women, we have many different identities, and sometimes we get stuck in one. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, you asked the woman, "Who are you?" and she said, "Mother," but there were other parts of her before she became a mother, and and
100%.
and I had that very same epiphany. I'm going through life, mother, this role, daughter, sister, um, former this, that, and I'm like just
Yep.
like you said, what was it? What was that person like? What was Nikki like at 16? Man, I was like a dancing fiend, and I
That's
loved
it.
music. And then I remembered, hey, I used to DJ at the college level, So I'm getting back into that. I'm actually going to buy a turntable if I
Oh, okay.
start old school and then do the hits up again. But that is so very true, and I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Has that ever happened to you when you just thought, you know, who am I? Like, did that
oh,
ever occur to you? Like, at
100%.
any
It's what
point?
born, it literally it's what birthed the journey to here. I woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I said, I just looked up, I washed my face and I looked up and I just said, who am I? I mean, I could tell you, I'm a wife. I can tell you what I do. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a caregiver. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm, bestie. And I could roll down the roles of a professional career. And we just put on the super. It's almost like we don't get rid of the superhero cape, right? Our
Mm,
superhero becomes our identity, and our secret identity is kind of packed away. It's like Superman never left the sky, kind
yes.
of thing. And so at one point, I had to say to myself, this is the things that defined me: journaling, reflection, just having experiences, moments of reflection for self change. Those things were being less and less every day because I was so focused on the to-do list and who needed
Mhm.
me and being here for this person and whatnot. And that epiphany had me asking my friends when I started saying, tell me who you are. And they were like, girl, the struggle and the juggle is real. I'm a mom and when I'm over here, and I'm like, and I kept hearing it with all my friends. And I'm like, ooh, girls, we got problems. Like before
Mm,
we would say this is who I want to be and this is what I want to achieve, and now we're just talking about what appointment we got to go to, what time we got to check in at work. You know what I mean? The man's driving us nuts. You know what I mean? Like it was just the stories that just caught up every day. And so that I said to myself, 365 days of me first. I'm just going to be focusing on me, getting back to the things that help me to develop who I am today, to be strong enough to carry all that I was carrying. And that's how Beautiful Women Society was born. And I was just doing a lot of life coaching and helping women to reconnect with who they were. And then it evolved because 90% of my clients were women in business. And so
mm.
it evolved from there. And then business kind of just took a life onto itself, and Empire by Design was born.
I love that. I love that. Miss J, I reflected yesterday and I shared something on social media about what I believe deeply and some lessons that I learned that you can
Mhm.
care, but you can't carry. What
That's
does that
it.
mean to you?
To me, it means I always like to think of it as the airplane analogy. If you don't put on your mask first, you can't help anybody else around you, right? And more times than not, those that thought process of strength is not defined by the right things. It's defined by what you produce for the people around you. And
Hmm.
so 9 times out of 10, we lose sight of how to be consistent with
Hmm.
self-development. We
Yeah.
lose sight on the importance of enhancing our knowledge. We lose sight on developing our skill sets. We lose
Hmm.
sight on increasing our capacity, right?
Yeah.
I call it the KSC. And most importantly, we lose our drip. Our drip actually reverts back to the negative drip. Like I have a little cycle I call the negative to positive drip. And the negative side is the D stands for demotivation. We're frustrated, we're tired, we just have no more energy to live. Really and truthfully, it's like we just get up. And from that demotivation comes resistance. And that from that resistance comes isolation. Like if you think about it, in the prime of your life, Nikki, how many of your girlfriends did you really keep in touch with? How much dinners did you go out to? When we used to go every weekend, either to the club or we were going to this and that. Like I thought back, like I couldn't tell you the last time I sat down with my girls and just chopped it up for no reason but to chop it up. Right.
Yeah.
And that isolation turns into pity. Now the struggle is real. Hashtag the juggle is real. So to your comment, I believe that when we lose our drip, then we are in a constant state of carrying, right?
Hmm.
And that removes the clarity and increases the confusion. And over time, it just takes away the ambition and the drive.
I love that. Yes. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
What mindset shift has helped you push through moments of doubt or limitation?
Drip, drive, resilience, innovation, and progression. I recognize that it's not about being loud, it was about being consistent. I follow 3 C's very carefully, and that becomes my first C is commitment. I understood very early in the game that if you're going to sharpen your discernment or if you're going to, look for the reward, you have to understand the strategy. So I became committed about being really focused on who I want to be each and every day. When I wake up, am I going to be the person that finishes the day and shares myself on to the next? Or am I going to wake up and let the world press on me? The second was commitment. I knew that resilience had to be strengthened in order for me to be consistent in delivering. And it doesn't always have to be big things, it's just small things, right? Just wiping down the counter, making sure the kitchen's clean, or making sure you organize your room before you leave. Little things that help me to become more effective, especially in business. And then the last is community. I really started putting, my values in check and creating the floaters and the people who wanted to stay on my back and the people who want, yeah, it's time to have a little conversation or not. And more times than not, I recognize that when I stopped talking, they weren't talking, which meant I was
Mm,
carrying the relationship, right? So over time, I just had to learn how to surround myself or build a community that was going to help me build myself.
I love that. I do an audit or a friend inventory every year, and
Yes.
thing I just sit back and I go, okay, who is pushing this relationship? Is it me or is it a
Yep.
nice push and pull?
Is
Is
it
it back and forth? It's
that's
a
it, a
reciprocal.
balance. It
Yes.
is. It is.
Yeah.
And those relationships aren't even the ones that you talk to every day. Like I have a bestie of 25 plus solid years. And there are times where it's months before we could get to each other. But there's always a sixth sense where we'll just pick up the phone and be like, "You good?" And then it's like, "Girl," and then we just it's there. Like that conversation's happening. It could be 2, 3 hours, and then we're gone again, and there's no love lost. I have friends like that who, and I appreciate my circle. I have a number of friends who are like that. Like I don't have to talk to them every day, especially because they know who I am. I'm a hustler, and if you don't, you won't catch me sitting on the couch eating bonbons trying to talk to you about what's going on the television set. They know, like if you hear from Miss J, there's a problem, or she's checking in, right?
Yes.
So those kind of community pieces are important to me, and those relationships even more so.
Yes. That's beautiful. It's such a gem, to have
Mhm.
that kind of friendship. And
Oh,
yeah, I have similar, well, I have maybe one or two 46-year-old friendships, which is something
mm-hmm.
I
Unheard of.
value so much. And we don't live in the same city, but I can pick her up and go, girl, I'm coming to
You see
see
what I'm
you.
saying?
Let's meet at the
That's it.
joint. And then we're giggling like 12-year-olds when we first met. So
100%. It's the best feeling. I have a group that I'm in with we call ourselves the Shoreham Day Ones, our elementary school from 4 years old. Yes. I mean, I'm 25 for the most,
yeah,
but
something
these are
silly.
40 plus year relationships that are still very active. And we get together every so often and just see how the families have grown. But it's okay. And every morning we say good morning. We may not talk for like lots and lots of stuff, but every morning the good morning chain starts. Morning, 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 family, morning, morning, day ones. Like it's important. I think over time you get to know friendships versus acquaintances and friendships versus your network, right? And you got to really separate those two. And if you understand how to do that, then it's really a great sustainability tool.
Beautiful, beautiful. In what ways, Miss J, do you hope your work or presence impacts others?
I value clarity, integrity, sustainability, and community. Those are my values. So I don't believe in hustle without health or growth without grounding. And so I lead with transparency, no smoke, no mirrors. Who you see talking to you now is who you're going to see when I meet you. I love having fun. And I believe that I build environments where people just don't perform, they evolve. I'm not about that just networking for the sake of networking. If I connect with you, we're going to do something big, right? And so service to me means leaving people stronger than I found them. If I don't add anything to your life, I should not be talking to you or you should not be talking to me. Really, truthfully, you know. But that's
Yes,
how I feel I can impact.
I love
Impact
that. Meaningful, intentional connections. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So let's look back. What advice would you give your younger Miss J?
Oh, oh, I would have gotten my investment license earlier for sure. I would have bought stock. But I think the side of me of drive, resilience, innovation, and progression has been in me for I can say probably my dad used to say probably from you were a child, right? I was always going. What I would have probably said to myself though is follow your instincts
Yes.
sometimes more than the need to be secure. I loved what I did at my job, but I think if I had dedicated the same effort I put into my job or my career, I probably would have been a legacy business right
Yeah.
now, type of thing. And
Mhm.
so um, I want to continue to tell myself, even if I look at 20 years back, I want to be able to tell myself today that utilize the drive in you to really create operational excellence and emotional intelligence, right? In other words, keep impact with the ability that it doesn't drain you, but it fills you up. Because I
Yes.
think over the years, I just continued emptying my cup and I wasn't filling it enough to recognize that certain things needed to be cut off, certain things needed to be paid more attention to. And so I want to, and burnout, don't burn yourself out. That's what I would tell myself because I normalized that, just going hard until I couldn't go anymore. And I think over time that created almost a comfort level of mediocrity because now it's
Yes.
just a routine. You're just getting up robotically, doing it day and thinking, yeah, I'm getting somewhere. But then after 30 plus years, I got what, a watch? Thanks. You know what I mean? So burning out for the right things is probably what I would tell myself.
Right. So, what do you think is the most important truth that you are currently unlearning or relearning?
The most important truth that I am currently probably learning is that your authenticity is a gem, and not everybody is should be entitled to the gems.
Have access to it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
even if it's coaching, work, and I'm not talking about friendships, but mostly in service,
Yes.
especially if you're a service-based business. Um, Not everyone should have access. Protect your creativity. I'm learning to build healthier, stronger business relationships, like with yourself, for example, like just reconnecting with you has been a blessing, the conversations we've had, and just watching how you have grown. When I first, I mean, you were a firecracker when I met you, and you were on the air, and you were doing the damn thing, and you were doing things that that really pioneered and trailblazed a lot for people, musicians, artists, just the general media, type of thing. And when I saw you the other day, like when we saw each other, and I was like, "Is that Nikki?" And you're like, "Hey!" And right then and there, it showed me that the people who are true to developing themselves and continuously leveling up their drip, that's where you have to be in the room with. That's the
Mm.
person you need to be in the room with. So that's what I'm learning. I think all the time I've been the smartest person in the room in a way, like either the most experienced or I had the most background or whatever the case may be. But I would have loved to be in more rooms where I could just sit, observe, listen, and build strong, meaningful relationships. So
Yeah.
that's what I learned.
Yes, absolutely. And it was really beautiful to see you at. It was a women's event that we were both
Hmm.
celebrated for our achievements. But as you probably saw with me, that I still keep it real. I was wearing a
Yes, you
lovely
did.
outfit, and then you're like, "Are you actually wearing flip flops?" Because yeah, I change my
Yeah.
shoes when I go to my car. I take off
Yeah.
my shoes and I wear flip flops because or I would have
That's
been
it.
if no one was there
Thank
because
you. Me too.
I
That's
keep
why,
it
like, when you see it, you're like, yes, clock it, honey. That's what I'm talking about. That's the real. That's the real,
That's
real.
real. And I'm like, yes, let's keep in touch, sister, because lots of work to do together for sure.
There is. There's so
Um,
much.
there's so much. So, what are you currently working on or building that excites you the most, Miss J?
Oh, well, I'm really proud of how I'm building community-driven business ecosystems. So not just programs. I think, I've gone beyond the come and join my program. Now it's about come and join my ecosystem, come and join the empire. And my empire, which actually empire stands for evolving multiple innovative, progressive, and resilient empires. So that's what empire stands for. I didn't bother to put the dots because it was just too much on the business license. So I was like, yeah, I'm not spelling that out. I've been developing spaces where entrepreneurs can learn, practice, and apply in real time. So I do a lot of hands-on technical training, and a lot of it's around the systems and operations. I find that businesses, especially the small businesses coming up, they're a lot of them are on the creative side. They like to develop these, their arts or their craft, but they don't understand that if you don't have the proper operational systems, that's all they are. They're just hobbies after a while. Like if you do not have an infrastructure, you don't have a business type of thing. So I've been really working on helping entrepreneurs or spaces developing, whether it's a CEO boardroom meeting or whether it's my boss mastery sales or whether it's my blueprint series. It's broken down to the point where I can identify where you're lacking and then build you up. I'm especially proud of initiatives that center access. So, a lot of people are looking for grants and they're looking for money. And I tell people it's not always about the money, it's about what you know, how much you know, and how your skill and capacity play into what you know, right? And so I always say you need more access than aspiration because access is what helps you to grow. And everything I build is now designed to scale without losing its soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and I say I'm here to grow with you. So some people are like, well, when do I start and finish? I'm like, well, if you're building an empire, we're going to be together for a long time because
Yeah.
empires are legacy driven, right?
Yes.
And so um, those are some of the pieces that I'm really excited about. Shop EPD is my latest baby. It's my two-part direct and digital mail campaign and the brand experience, which is an online live shopping showcase. So that's the newest to the core of my coaching and now into marketing, advertising, and promoting.
I love that. And I love how you underscored what you're doing is driven towards legacy creation.
Yes, a
Yes.
1000%. I mean, we talk about generational wealth all the time. But that's not just insurance, right? I mean, I am a licensed insurance and investment licensed as well. And I got that not because I'm in love with selling insurance or in love, but I'm in love with developing people's capacity so that they can actually have generational wealth or have a legacy business. And you and I know that where we are today, there's a huge foundation that we had to build to get here. Huge. And it had to be consistent, right? We probably, if I say to you, what would you have said to yourself? You know, it would probably be similar, like the things I would have told myself to do, right? I mean, the
Yes.
platforms you would have built earlier, but everything comes with learning, and we didn't have those mentors that people had. We learned, I like to say, with the PhD, the player hater degree, like we just had to learn off of these streets how to put things together and still figure it out. We didn't have AI and internet
Yeah.
even at that point. It was pagers and brick phones. So whoever you
Yes.
knew in your community, and well, for me, I didn't grow up with a lot of entrepreneurs in my community. They were hustlers, but they weren't entrepreneurs, right? It was
Mm.
only when I went to a library and sat down and said, "What's a business plan?" I heard about it and I said, "I want to go learn that." But nowhere in my community they taught us how to do resumes. They
Mm-hmm.
taught us how to work for people, but nobody ever taught us how to build our own generational wealth. So that's where I feel I want to change the landscape. I don't want my kids to grow up looking for a job. I want them to grow up knowing, build it and they will come.
Mm.
Invest wisely, invest frugally, even if it's $100 a month. By the time you're 40, you're going to have some serious coins in the bank. Understand markets. I said you don't have to sell insurance or sell investments, but you need to get your license so that you can have access to the big
Mm-hmm.
investment companies, right? And whatever your hobby or your passion is, we're going to turn that into a profit. Because if you
Mm.
love doing it, you're going to do it for the rest of your life,
Right. Right.
right?
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that is so true. And it's, yes, a lot of what you shared, we have parallel experiences.
Mhm.
And what you're building now is the infrastructure, yes, for the generational wealth. But um, I think what I have prepared my children for, and they're doing very well in their own right. And,
Mhm.
means different things for different people. It could be,
Yes.
material success, or it could just be they're just happy and they're
Yeah.
doing what they enjoy. Um, but what I like to teach the youth that come through my wings is resilience, because it's not going to be puppies and rainbows every day. Like you have to,
No.
let give them the reality check. And I think
That's it.
social media gives a lot of um, the illusion of
Hmm.
grandeur when they need to really
Hmm.
be grounded in their reality. So
Yes.
that's what I'm able to offer: the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that they're going to be okay. You know what I
Yes.
mean? That they
100%.
have to be able to create their own healthy ways of coping. when things
Yes.
go right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What do
Yes.
you
Oh,
think about
and
that?
even expecting it, right?
Mm,
Like, let's just be real. When you talk about the goats of any industry, uh, these are people who didn't need to explain their vision to people who aren't assigned to it. You want to go to the club and dance? Great, but I'm going to be over here in the studio, or I'm going to be in the gym, or I'm going to be in, building my business. And I think that's a lot of times where people think about, and you're saying it right on the nose. They see the bright lights, bright city lights, and they're feeling it. They're seeing the videos and the people who are there and pulling up in the Lambos and popping bottles. And yes, sweetheart, but they were in a garage, a basement, a room, failing and failing and failing until the formula worked, right? And they recognize that slow growth, as we do. We recognize that slow growth with strong foundation will always beat fast growth with weak systems, right?
mhm,
So systems are not just always business. I say there's 8 dimensions in life. There's yourself, there is your relationship, there is your whether you're a caregiver or a parent, your home, your finance, your career, your business, or your friendships and your spirituality. All
mhm.
dimensions, all
Yes,
dimensions. And each dimension uses systems. Each
absolutely.
dimension, right? So when you are able to put a boundary around the word failure, failing to me is when you quit. That's when you
Mm,
fail. But if you're continuously trying, you're simply finding the formula to find
mhm.
the clarity, and that's going to save you years, right? Because you might fail for the next 6 months, but if you can figure it out in 6 months, honey, you good. But there's people out
Mhm.
there who refuse to fail or who refuse to keep trying, and years down the line, they're like, if I only knew.
If I only knew. If
Yeah,
I only, if I just didn't give up at that
yeah.
moment. And
100%.
like when you're feeling that temptation to give up, I always think there's the breakthrough right around the corner. It's just
Yes.
that pivotal moment that people need to push. Yeah.
That's it. It's that one, they all show that little diagram of the guy mining for gold, and he
Yes.
gives up in the gold like one more
Mhm.
hit. You know what I mean? And I love the iceberg analogy where what people see is the top of the iceberg, but when you go underneath the water, the vast
Mm,
foundation that tip sits on is how I look at building generational and legacy. It's what are my children's 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 children, right? They're the tip of the iceberg at the top, but that old money, that's going to be the real foundation is the old money,
the old
right?
one.
So I
Hmm.
say I don't build wealth for me. I'll enjoy it as I get it, but I'm building wealth for my children and teaching them how to build wealth. And that's not always just money. That's
Hmm.
back to sustainability, authenticity, integrity, morals, just strong characteristics that will you need to keep passing down
Hmm.
for that generational wealth and that legacy driven business to survive, right? So
Yes.
those are the key things that I think that if people can lock in on, then sad days are a must. I mean, how could you feel happy and feel like you've won if you've never lost?
Actually, actually, yes. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. Values. Values are, you know what? Values and character in a human being is worth $1 billion for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's
it's everything.
very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. And how can people support or connect with you after the show?
Oh, it's simple. Just hit me up on, you can email me or on info@empirebydesign.ca. I love an email. Um, I don't like to say follow me on Empire by like the IG. You can if you so choose. But I love having conversations. I love to get to know who you are. I love to have a virtual coffee chat. So if you send me an email at info@empirebydesign.ca. You can check out my website just if you want more dimension on, what I'm capable of. And then how can we connect? Whether it be just to hang out every so often and talk business, or if it's to talk, values, or just to have some, just to get to know. who you are. I'm here. I'm here. I tell people all the time, build one solid thing before chasing everything. And so at the
Mm.
end of the day, if you ask for the support, we connect sooner and we can exchange our KFCs, then we're gonna be set. Like we're gonna be set. So please, yes, reach out. And if you do need an IG, if you want to DM me, you can go to Empire by Design _ and I'm right there.
I love that. Thank you so much. And just
Thank
one
you.
closing question.
Hmm.
If you could leave our audience with one message of encouragement or empowerment, how would you encourage that person to fly?
Ooh, girl, strengthen who you are to become better at what you do. Consistently spread your wings. Consistently look up. Your attitude determines your altitude, but your drive, your resilience, your innovation, and your progression is what secures your legacy.
Mm, beautiful.
That's what I believe.
Pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much,
Thank
Miss J.
you.
It's been such a pleasure talking with you. I love it. I hope we can do this again another time. And you're welcome to come down to my new neighborhood in the
I
country.
will. I mean, more in the summer. I love the winter, but I don't like driving in it. So definitely for spring, we will definitely connect. And you know what? I want you, I mean, I had you on my Business Weekly show, but I want you to come into my Empire Chronicles show. So it's the Empire Chronicles. That's exactly something like this, but we focused on the business aspect. And I just want you to continue sharing that history of wealth of knowledge that you've accumulated. I think there's so many people that could use more of Dr. Nikki Clarke in their life.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I would be
For
honored,
sure. And
so
for
keep
you.
doing what you're doing. You fly
I
so well.
will.
You fly flying. And
Thank you.
we'll stay in touch for sure. Again, thank you, Miss J. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
all for watching this incredible interview. Stay connected with Miss J on social media. And we'll be back with another beautiful interview. Stay informed, stay transformed. We'll see you next time. Bye for
All
now.
right. Bye, everyone.